Drop it.
Good morning. Investigation continues. An oil spill off the coast of California has dumped nearly 150,000 gallons of oil into the ocean. What officials are saying caused the spill and how the cleanup is progressing.
And Pfizer seeks approval. The drug maker is seeking to expand the ages eligible for its COVID-19 vaccination, when they can receive approval and what that means for kids.
Fall break kicks off today, but it isn't feeling like fall weather quite yet. Our weather team times out weekend heat and when you can expect temperatures to change. Get the coffee ready and open up those eyes. You're waking up with Cardinal Weather.
State Unified Media. You're waking up with Cardinal Weather, live from the Ball State Weather Center.
Good Friday morning to you. You're waking up with Cardinal Weather. I'm Philip Chorzay.
And I'm Libby Kleemeyer.
It is a gorgeous morning outside.
It is.
And it's supposed to be a toasty one out there this weekend.
No, the heat keeps coming. Go away.
Heat will not keep coming, it won't go away here. As a matter of fact, we got more in the way of heat next week as well, but you see that in my full 7-day forecast in just a bit. But first of all, look at these temperatures right now. Terre Haute, 62 degrees, Indianapolis at 64 degrees, Muncie is 65 degrees at this hour, and Shelbyville is at 64 degrees at this hour. You take a look at these next 8 hours, yes, it's going to warm up, unfortunately, but this is fall for you, but this is how it goes sometimes. We're going to warm up to about the mid-70s today. We do have some showers and thunderstorms on the way, as you see right here, as I'm going to take a look at later on. We also going to take a look at those fall temperatures for the fall break for everybody. And of course, we may see a cool down as a cold front comes through next week, and I have all those details for you coming up.
Thank you so much, Ryan. Now, it's been a week since thousands of gallons of oil started spewing into the Pacific Ocean. Officials have been trying to find out what caused the start of the spill.
Now, investigators believe they have identified the source of the oil. Daryl Forges explains what the investigation has revealed.
New video shows a 13-inch tear in this California oil pipeline that caused what's been called a major environmental disaster. Officials say up to 144,000 gallons of crude oil spewed from this line into the Pacific Ocean.
The pipeline has essentially been pulled like a bowstring. And so at its widest point is 105 feet away from where it was. So it is kind of in almost a semicircle.
A preliminary report indicates the partial tear could have been caused by an anchor that hooked the pipeline. The Coast Guard boarded a German ship that could have played a role in the spill. The company that runs the cargo ship denies the vessel passed over the pipeline and said they are fully cooperating with authorities.
This investigation is going to be robust, and we are going to get to the bottom of what happened.
Meanwhile, the cleanup continues.
It's people in suits and gloves that are picking up oil off the beaches, what we call tar balls and patties, packaging that up so it can be disposed of as hazardous material.
Unified Command reports some 4,800 gallons of oil have been recovered so far. The beaches in the area remain closed, impacting some businesses that want this to end soon.
It's very quiet. People are kind of just stay away from the beach. It's not as bad as it looks. Yes, it is a disaster, but so far, closing the beach, I think is a little too much.
I'm Daryl Forges reporting.
Officials say that the owners of the pipeline and anyone else liable for the environmental catastrophe will pay for the cleanup and more.
Now in Alabama, the death toll has climbed to 4 people after flash flooding began Wednesday night. Crews across Birmingham rescued dozens of people trapped in their homes and cars. Up to 10 inches of rain fell across the area from Wednesday night through Thursday. The fire chief from a nearby city said they had nearly 300 calls for help. Their team rescued 82 people from homes and nearly 20 were rescued from their cars. The EMA director of Shelby County says the flooding caused many people to suffer.
Hearts go out to everyone who has lost and suffered tonight, and just am grateful that Pelham has been able to respond in the way that they have, and especially for those departments that came from many, many miles away in other parts of the state to come and help us all get through this tonight.
Now the area is expected to feel the impact of the flooding for the next several days. Today, crews are set to check damage and infrastructure, including roads, pipelines, and power lines.
And parts of Italy received record-breaking rain this week. On Monday, a series of storms over northwestern Italy unleashed the highest rainfall rate ever seen in all of Europe. Over 29 inches of rain just fell in over 12 hours. Some areas even received up to 36 inches of rain. That's about the same amount of rain Seattle receives in a whole year. The rain caused several floods and mudslides, dozens had to be rescued, and one bridge collapsed.
Now moving from Europe over to Asia, 15 people are dead and at least 300 have been injured after a strong earthquake yesterday in Pakistan. The earthquake was registered as a 5.9 magnitude quake. It struck the southwestern region of the country. Some residents reported power outages and extensive damages to their home after the earthquake. Search and rescue efforts are continuing today as the number of injured continues to rise. An earthquake also struck Japan on Thursday, also registered at a 5.9 magnitude. The quake struck the east coast of the country near Tokyo. It left at least 250 households without power. The Japanese government set up a task force to deal with the situation. Officials say the earthquake did not create tsunami danger and that they haven't detected any abnormalities at any nuclear facilities.
And a new art exhibit has opened in Indonesia using only plastic. An environmental group called Ecological Observation and Wetlands Conservation created the outdoor museum to draw attention to single-use plastics. It features over 10,000 plastic waste items like bags, bottles, and other polluting items. The exhibit was constructed over 3 months. The museum's founder said on Instagram that he wants people to stop using one-use plastics because they are difficult to recycle.
Just ahead, booster side effects, the most common symptoms people are feeling after the coronavirus vaccination.
And that's after your weather now. Welcome back. The current time is 8:08 and you're taking a live look outside at the Foundational Science Building. Pfizer is taking another step towards making COVID-19 vaccines available for younger children. The drug maker officially applied for emergency use authorization Thursday.
The authorization would allow kids ages 5 to 11 to be vaccinated. Mandy Gaither breaks down what the rollout of vaccines could look like.
If authorized, it would be the first COVID-19 vaccine for younger children. Pfizer officially applying for emergency use authorization for kids ages 5 to 11.
This is an important development.
The FDA has scheduled time to review the Pfizer data October 26th. That would be followed by consideration by the CDC. While it's still unclear how long a decision may take, here was the timeline for adults. Pfizer applied for an EUA on November 20th, 2020. It was authorized December 11th.
We are ready. We have the supply. We're working with states to set up convenient locations for parents and kids to get vaccinated, including pediatricians' offices and community sites.
Pfizer says in trials, more than 2,200 children were given 1/3 of the dose adults get. The company found its vaccine safe and generated a robust antibody response. But officials know they're continuing to contend with vaccine hesitancy.
I would anticipate that as parents and their children have questions of their pediatricians and other local health professionals, and they get those questions answered, that more and more parents and kids will want their kids to get vaccinated.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Pfizer began submitting data to the FDA last month. The company had not formally requested authorization until this week, though.
And more than 6,000 Afghan evacuees hosted at Camp Atterbury in southern Indiana have been vaccinated against measles, mumps, rubella, and the chickenpox. That's according to a statement released by federal officials Monday. Evacuation flights from Afghanistan were paused in September after 4 cases of measles were reported. Officials at the base say they held a vaccination campaign from September 6th through September 17th. They said Afghans arriving at the base were required to receive vaccinations as a condition of the remaining in the U.S. Refugees are also tested for the coronavirus and offering a COVID-19 vaccine. Tuesday, the Department of Homeland Security said the evacuation flights have resumed. More than 49,000 Afghan refugees have been vaccinated.
Now, as more children become eligible for COVID-19 vaccinations, Americans are starting to roll up their sleeves for booster shots. The FDA has released more information on what types of side effects are being caused by a third dose. On Tuesday, an FDA official said swollen lymph nodes appear to occur more frequently after booster shots, but the FDA says that's a common side effect with many vaccines, and it usually goes away quickly. The most common side effect is feeling tired after the third dose. Some people also have reported experiencing flu-like symptoms.
And now almost half Americans don't plan on getting a flu shot this year. That's according to a new study from the National Foundation of Infectious Diseases. Researchers say 44% of participants said they weren't sure or weren't planning to get the flu shot this year. Most of those people said they believe the shot doesn't work very well. Health experts say this year's flu season could be worse than average. Now they're advising Americans to get both the flu shot and the COVID-19 vaccination this fall.
It is safe and effective to get both vaccines at the same time. Getting vaccinated against flu and against COVID-19 is the best way that everyone can stay healthy, protecting themselves, their loved ones, and their communities.
For more information on how to get vaccinated, go to ourshot.in.gov. Now,
even with the flu shots, it really hasn't felt like it's been fall quite yet this year.
No, like we keep saying, these temperatures are coming and going, but what about the rest of the country?
Eric, what can you tell us?
Well, unfortunately, it's looking to be another warm one for much of the, right now across the nation, it's quite warm for majority of the company. Like right now, it's 65 here in Muncie, 79 in Atlanta. Looking across the west, quite cool. 42 degrees in Seattle, 75 down in Las Vegas, and 63 in Los Angeles. And as we do head, and right now looking at our watches and warnings right now, we do have a flash flood watch here for Georgia, as they have the potential to see some heavy rain later today, maybe some flooding as well, unfortunately. And as we do head looking to our other area of concern, we have this winter storm warning here for northeast part of Utah. They have the potential to see some snow later on today, unfortunately. And as we do look towards our forecast for today, we're expecting those showers and storms here in the Ohio Valley to finally slowly move out of here, as that same pesky low that's been impacting us for the last few hours will finally start to, for the last few days, will finally start to move out of here. And by the time we get to Saturday morning, we'll see the storms heading off to our east. Seems the sunshine finally returning to the Ohio Valley, and across the other side of the country, seems the snow showers here in Colorado. And then looking ahead towards our forecast for today, it's looking to be pretty hot for much of the nation's section. 94, a hot spot here in Los Angeles, Dallas, 94 degrees, 84 in Kansas City, and then looking across the country, 71 in New York, and 85 in Pensacola. And then as you look towards our forecast for tomorrow, again, a carbon copy of today, looking to be quite humid, 92 in Dallas-Fort Worth, 89 in Kansas City, and then looking at the rest of the nation, our cool spot being Seattle, at 57 degrees, and 72 down in Las Vegas. And as you head to the next several days, we're unfortunately expecting that pattern of warmer than average temperatures to continue on in the U.S. for the next several days as the warm air continues to hold on. And it doesn't seem like going until probably later on next week, as we're expecting those above average temperatures to hang around. And we do have a cool spot here coming in from the west, and we're expecting this to bring in that chance for maybe some cooler weather at some point.
Now, Eric, did I hear you right? Did you say that there's going to be snow in Salt Lake City?
Yeah.
That is insane, especially with all the warm temperatures that we're going to be experiencing here.
In Dallas, they have 94. Could not be us. I'm glad.
Not us.
I'm glad. Awesome. Thank you so much, Eric. Now, in just a moment, filming a movie in space, one country became the first to take it to the stars.
That's after a message from Mitz.
Riding the bus is an easy thing to do. Last year, we carried 60,000 riders from the Ball State area. 50,000 of those were students. Anywhere you want to go, MITS will take you there.
Welcome back. The time is currently 8:15, and you're taking a live look at the beautiful morning at the Foundational Science Building. Now, transitioning up to the stars, Russia is the first country to film a movie in space. A mission launched this week for the International Space Station. Take a look at their launch from Tuesday. The mission has a film producer and an actress on board. The pair will spend 12 days on the ISS shooting scenes for a Russian movie called Challenge. There has been a documentary and a short film production produced on the station, but this will be the first feature-length film to shoot there. Cosmonauts on the space station will pitch in to help with the film's production. America won't be far behind their Russian counterparts, however. Tom Cruise is also expected to travel to the space station to shoot a film, and that could happen as soon as this month. SpaceX has not released a launch date.
Now coming back down here on Earth, NASA is testing out a new defense system that could protect Earth from space asteroids. The planetary defense system will be tested for the first time the day before Thanksgiving. NASA is planning to launch a SpaceX Falcon rocket from California towards a 525-foot-long asteroid. The asteroid is currently 6.8 million miles away. NASA wants to see if they can change the asteroid's orbit using the rocket. This strategy is called the Connect Impactor technique. NASA is planning to use a satellite to record the impact. It is going to stream the test over the NASA app and on its website.
And from technology of the future to the distant past, a shop in Maine is selling an interesting antique, a 65-million-year-old dinosaur egg. Check this out. The Rock and Art Shop sells a variety of fossils and pieces of natural history. The owner says she doesn't know what species of dinosaur the egg is, but they do know the egg came from Mongolia. The shop owner said a big reason she founded her store was to give people in the area an opportunity to see pieces of history like this. And obviously, with our dinosaur egg, got you thinking about that horrible stormy weather that you got in Jurassic Park.
I know. I'm glad we don't have that here, but I don't know. Ryan?
No, we don't have no horrible storms here. We do have some showers and thunderstorms coming into our area a little bit later on today, but that's going to be this afternoon. But we are going to remain pretty warm as well as we go through this weekend into next week. As you'll see on my 7-day forecast in just a sec. But the current temperatures is 64 degrees in Indianapolis, 65 degrees in Muncie, 65 degrees right now in Fort Wayne, and Kokomo is sitting at 61 degrees at this hour. Now you take a look at this radar. We do have some showers and some thunderstorms that's off to our east, that's in the Ohio state line, Indiana, Ohio. But we're still pretty clear right now. But we do expect some showers and thunderstorms to come into our area later on this afternoon into this evening, and we'll have to keep that rain gear with us as we go throughout. Now you take a look at the next 8 hours, you're going to see that the temperatures are going to be in the mid-70s, and we're going to see this as a common theme as we go through this weekend as well as into this next week as well, because those 80s are going to remain with us. So we're not feeling a whole lot like fall as well, not yet. But we will too a little bit later on this next week. Currently, as you look at today, 64 degrees when you wake up this morning and go to class, and we're going to see those showers and thunderstorms moving to our area as we go later on, as we're going to see 74 degrees. Now you take a look at tonight, you're going to see evening showers. 66 degrees will be our low. Winds will come out of the southwest at 5 miles an hour. As you take a look at this weekend, you're going to see that we're going to 79 degrees. It's going to be a high for tomorrow, partly cloudy skies. Now, if you take a look at Sunday, 84 degrees, well above average for this time of year. We should be around about 69, 70 degrees at this time of the year. So we're running about 10 to 15 degrees above average. We do have to worry about that wind as well with these storms coming through as well. So you take a look at these wind gusts. The wind gusts right here is going to be pretty, not highly gusty, but they're going to be gusty enough that it's going to be noticeable when you have the rainfall come through. As you see right here, we're going to be about like 10 to 15 miles an hour as we go through Saturday, but we also going to crank it up a little bit as we go through Sunday. You're going to see those wind gusts get up to 20, even 25 miles an hour at times on Sunday and Monday. As you take a look at that 7-day forecast, you're going to see 77 degrees for today. We're going to have those showers and thunderstorm chances. But then look at this, 80s for October until we have a cold front come through on Tuesday, which is going to knock those temperatures right back down to the lower 70s. So yes, we do have some 80s on the way. It's well above average, 15 degrees. I know that's not fortunate for you, Libby, but that's how it is at this time of the year right now. We're dealing with Indian summer. So, right now, until that cold front comes through, we're going to be dealing with upper 70s to low 80s. And until we see those lower 70s come back down, bring us back down to earth, I don't see really any major cool down coming yet. So, No snow. I know that you all want the snow. I don't want no snow. Trust me, no snow.
I don't know if I want a lot of snow, but just
Yeah.
a little flurries.
I still want to get my pumpkin from the pumpkin patch. Go apple
you
picking
should still be
before
able
the
to
snow
do that,
sets
though.
in. Yeah, no, it sounds like it's going to be a great weekend for that.
Awesome.
Now, in just a moment, we'll introduce you to a new pet looking for a forever home.
And that's after your weather now.
From the heart of Ball State to the heart of your community, NewsLink Indiana brings you local and state news you care about. We pride ourselves with giving you the most reliable news coverage, stories that affect you, linking you to the community each night on air and online. NewsLink Indiana, bringing news to the heart of your community.
Welcome back. It is now 8:22, and this week's court dates were set. A Facebook whistleblower testified, and the nation's debt ceiling has been raised.
Let's take a look at this week's News Minute. Former Muncie Mayor Dennis Tyler will go to court in early November. A court official said Tuesday that Tyler will face the U.S. District Court in Indianapolis. The hearing is set just short of 2 years after his arrest by the FBI. The former mayor reached an agreement with federal prosecutors in May to plead guilty to the theft of government funds. In his plea, Tyler admitted to receiving a $5,000 bribe in 2015 to influence city contracts.
In the end, the buck stops with Mark. There's no one currently holding Mark accountable but himself.
A former Facebook product manager testified before Congress this week. Frances Haugen leaked tens of thousands of pages from Facebook's internal documents. She says the company prioritized selling ads over the health of young people using its platform. Mark Zuckerberg said this claim doesn't make any sense. Haugen is expected to meet with the House Select Committee investigating the January 6th siege on the U.S. Capitol sometime in the future.
We have reached agreement to extend the debt ceiling through early December, and it's our hope that we can get this done as soon as today.
Now that's as leaders in the Senate reached a deal to temporarily end the debt ceiling debate. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer announced yesterday the agreement would extend the debt ceiling until December. The deal comes after weeks of partisan deadlock in the Senate. The Secretary of the Treasury had warned lawmakers if the debt limit was not raised by October 18th that the federal government would likely run out of money. Now it may be the start of fall break, but we haven't seen many fall temperatures quite yet.
And we haven't seen any fall colors on the trees either. Weather forecaster Ryan Hill is breaking down the science on what causes those fall colors.
Good morning, Cardinals. And as we have crossed into fall, you might be starting to see a little bit of color on those leaves. So we're breaking down the science today of why does the green in the leaves make like a tree and leaf? Well, we look forward to those fall colors because they brighten up our landscape. And we may be wondering, how does this all work? What affects them? Well, it all has something to do with the amount of light we receive during the seasons. And there's that transition during the fall that because we get less daylight hours and because the side of the Earth we're on, the upper half, known as that northern hemisphere, we receive less direct sunlight rays and less time in the sun. These plants start to say, because it's all got to do with photosynthesis and how plants, like trees, use the sun to produce different chemicals. And that leads us to the word of the week, chlorophyll. Basically, it's, as we are talking about right here, the chemical behind that green pigment associated with leaves. So here we are. We start with the green leaf. We're just getting out of summer, and we're just still getting enough light that these trees can continue that photosynthesis process that keeps it nice and green. But then as we get through the next few weeks of September into October, sometimes it depends on how much water we get as well as how cool things get. If the change between summer and fall is more dramatic, we get more low pressure systems, we get more cool fronts than we do ridges of high pressure. That will definitely factor into starting that whole process and maybe even prolonging it. So we're in a position that maybe we're right between here and here as we start to get a little bit more. If you think of tea, well, the chemicals that are behind this particular color, they're called flavonoids, and that's an antioxidant. So if you're sipping your tea, enjoying the nice fall colors as they start to turn, well, take a look at that. There's a little bit of a connection between what you're doing and what you're seeing. Kind of cool, isn't it? So as far as what that means for us, well, sometimes we get more vibrant seasons other than others. It definitely has everything to do with how much sunlight we receive, but when it comes to wet falls versus dry falls, this would be accelerated. We wouldn't even get these mixtures of colors if it hadn't been for that nice little transition into cooler temperatures and more wet conditions. That helps prolong this particular cycle that we see that beautifies the campus around Ball State. So if you're looking out at those trees and kind of wondering, how does that work? Well, I have a little bit of information here that might help you appreciate those colors a little more. For Cardinal Weather, I'm forecaster Ryan Hill. Keep it awesome. Have a wonderful weekend. Back to you guys at the desk.
We get to meet a new pet who just goes to show that being single isn't that bad. Take a look at this cutie.
Give a warm welcome to beautiful Celine. She is around 1 to 2 years old and is absolutely adorable. She loves meeting people, but when that tires her out, she likes to curl up on a comfy blanket and just hang out. She also walks well on a leash and does a very good job of potty training. Like we mentioned, Celine is a dog that does best in a home with no other pets around. However, she does just fine with kids that are taller than her. If you'd like to adopt Celine or any other pet, just head over to the MACS website at cityofmuncie.com.
She's adorable.
She is adorable, and I would love to see what kind of Halloween costume we could get on her as Halloween's coming up.
I know. I love to dress up my dog, even though he hates it. But
we have never dressed up our dogs for Halloween. It's unfortunate. They didn't fit the family theme ever.
That's so funny. But now this year Halloween is coming a little bit early at Lowe's.
The company is hosting Halloween trick-or-treat tryouts. This year will be the first time Lowe's holds the event. The company says it's a way for the people to show off their costumes, collect some candy, and take photos. The event will be held October 21st in store gardens across the country, but space is limited to 100 families per store. If you want to go, you can sign up at lowes.com/trick-or-treat.
Now, I'm sure, hopefully Halloween, there's good weather to go trick-or-treating.
Hopefully. It was so cold last year.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
There was no trick-or-treating in Muncie last year, so
yeah.
We're lucked out. I'm a little bit old to go trick-or-treating personally.
Yeah, I think I'm done.
Have we maxed out on trick-or-treating?
That's so
unfortunately.
Sad.
Ryan, no trick-or-treating for you?
No, I'm well done with that. No more trick-or-treating. No trick-or-treating.
All right.
Oh boy, but you do have to worry about some warm weather as well, though, with this trick-or-treating. We got mid-80s coming up. Maybe a little bit cool off a little bit at the end next week when we have a cold front come through on Tuesday. But other than that, we're gonna be well above average for this time of the year.
All right, and that's all
Thank
for
you,
Cardinal
Ryan.
Weather this Friday morning. Thank you for joining us.
We'll see you next Friday. Have a great rest of your day and a safe and wonderful fall break.